So growing up, I always really liked racing games, and just racing in general. For some reason, as a kid, I was really obsessed with Jeff Gordon, who drove the number 24 car, and I don't know if it was because I was so little at the time that I just really liked the colors of his car, but perhaps that set me up to enjoy racing games in video game format. I mean, there was always the ones in the arcades that we would go to every so often. I loved playing those. And then I had, Crash Team Racing left an indelible mark on my growing up. I feel like Crash Team Racing is the complete racing game packet, or kart racing specifically, because, you know, it has a story mode. That's really it. But I also played Test Drive 5, I believe I had for the PlayStation, which was your kind of straightforward racing game, and I thought that was really cool, even though I wasn't super big into cars. But I also played on the GameCube. I had one, Road Trip, which was just another like arcade style one. But then, as well as like Mario Kart Wii, which is my most successful video that I failed to monetize. But the racing game for me, if it's not Crash Team Racing, it would have been Kirby Air Ride. I put so many hours into Kirby Air Ride. Like all the modes, actually. You know, it's got the 3 modes. It's got the Air Ride, which is just your typical racing, you know, get start to finish, do 3 laps. The Top Ride mode, which was actually like underrated, I think. And just like you can do these short little races, and it was fun. But the mode that I spent the most time on, that I absolutely loved, was City Trial. And City Trial was, you had this big open map, and your goal was for 3 to 7 minutes, whatever you chose. You had to run around the map, well, on one of the stars you were riding. So you were riding around the map, picking up power-ups that you would use in a final challenge, whether that's a race or a battle or some sort of mini game. So if you knew, for example, that you were going to be doing like the long jump minigame, then you would want to pick up a bunch of glide power-ups, because that way you would glide farther and you would get a farther distance and win the challenge. If you were doing a race, then you would want to pick up a lot of speed power-ups. And just because every time you played it, even though it was the same map every time, the same overworld, every time you played it, it was just different. I thought it was one of the most perfect executions of a game mode. And as well as like having, like 120 like challenges, I guess. I want to say checkpoints, but little things that you had to do, from a matter of like, collect 10 top speed power-ups in one game, to defeat, you know, King Dedede in under 10 seconds or something like that. So there was a lot that made you want to keep playing, and even after you got all 120, the game was still fun to play as it is. And so a very sharp segue from that would be talking about Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers is not at all a racing game, but Smash Brothers is another game that I have played at least Melee, Brawl, and then Smash 4. I never played the original, and I don't have a Switch, and am not particularly interested in the new one. But Smash 4 in particular, even though I don't know if I ever played against anybody in particular, that's probably the one I played the most, just because I enjoyed doing it. And recently, I was gifted I had the Wii U version for a while, but I was gifted the 3DS version, which is great, because picking up my 2DS, I realized just how much I missed playing games on it. So I started playing Smash 4 for 3DS with the intent of, you know, just something light that can be easily picked up, and then I still have to unlock everybody. But there's one mode on the 3DS version that is not on the Wii U version, and that is Smash Run. Why did nobody tell me about Smash Run? Because Smash Run is basically City Trial, but for Smash Brothers. It's basically the exact same concept. You've got a giant overworld that I believe is unchanging. It's the same overworld every time. You run around and you collect power-ups that you use in a final challenge. It's the exact same execution, but in Smash Brothers format. And it works so well. It's, even though there's like nothing to unlock from it, because I've played it probably like 20 times now, and I haven't unlocked any new characters as a result of it. And also there's not like the challenges to mark off. There's nothing specifically related to Smash Run other than like play Smash Run once, which I did 20 times. But man, this is such a good mode. I'm just so excited about it that I had to do this like stream of consciousness. Like, I mean, it's on the 3DS, so it's a little weaker, so you don't see, like in City Trial, you can run into the other characters you're playing against and, you know, beat them up and steal their power-ups and stuff. You can't really do that on the 3DS because it's only you running around on the map. Everybody else is running around, I guess, on their own copies of the map. Or perhaps the map is big enough that I just never ran into anybody else. Which would be weird. But it's just so fun. Like, this... Okay, here's one area where I guess it's different than Kirby Air Ride. Because in City Trial, I guess the difference is you get different, like, stars to ride on. As opposed to in this, where you have the different characters you can use. And riding on the different stars gives you a little bit of different experience when going through the City Trial. Because if you have a good flying star, you can get to higher up places. And yeah, you can kind of change your star on the fly, as opposed to in Smash Run, where you choose your character at the beginning, and that's pretty much who you're stuck with. And by pretty much, I mean it is. So I guess that's a slight difference, but it's not... Smash Run is fun, and I wish there was more like control over it. Like for Smash Run, you're always in the map area for 5 minutes. Whereas in City Trial, you could set it from 3 to 7. And I always felt like 7 was not enough. And 5... in Smash Run is absolutely not enough. I wanted to spend more time in there. I want there to be more events, because the only events I've really seen were just like, oh, it's windy, or oh, there's a secret treasure chest somewhere on the map. Which maybe if I used the map more, maybe that would be more fun. But I want to have more control. I also want to have a better understanding of what mini games show up at the end. Because the problem with it being a fighting game like Super Smash Bros. Is that most of your mini games are going to be fighting. It's do a fight, do the best at the fight, and you win, and that's it. There was one that I saw that was a race. It was just so different than that. So like if you had focused on getting all the fighting stuff and then it's just like, oh, surprise, it's actually a race, then good luck. So I wish there was more control over the settings. Basically, there's no settings options. There's no difficulty even, as far as I know. So that is something that I would change with Smash Run. I would also make Smash Run available on the Wii U version. If it is available in the Switch version, I haven't looked. Nobody's told me. Again, this is your fault, the royal you. Everybody, for not telling me about Smash Run. Why did you not tell me about Smash Run? It's the greatest mode in a video game. since Crash Team Racing's story mode, or since Kirby Air Ride City Trial, actually. It is just so shy of being perfect, of being the perfect mode. And I love it. And that's how my brain works.